Welcome to Be the Change, a special Youth Day program where we discuss on how the youth can be the change to contribute to national development. I'm your host, Faith Katai. Youth Day is a public holiday in Zambia that is commemorated on the 12th of March every year. This is a day to remember the youth and the young Zambians that fought in 1962 during the national's difficult journey to independence. And so on this episode, we feature Karine Samatemba, a graduate from the University of Zambia, the first female president of the Student Union, UNZAHASA, for the academic year 2022-2023. She is also a founder and hub lead for Global Platform Zambia. Karine is also a BA Economics merit graduate from UNZA, who cooked her way to graduation by engaging in a pre-cooked beans business to raise tuition fees while she was still at campus. Karine, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Faith. I really appreciate.
Tell us your story.
Okay, so Karine is a young leader who is also a solution-driven leader, not just a leader, but a solution-driven leader. She's passionate about female leadership. I believe that female leadership should be practiced to the highest extent because I believe females have what it takes to be in key leadership positions, not just key leadership positions, but decision-making positions. I also believe that young people, children as well, should be included in the formulation of the solutions to the problems that we're facing as a world, because I believe they have the fresh minds, they have the innovations that we seek as a country. So if we're to develop or if we're to come up with tangible solutions, then we should involve children as well. So my story, okay, my pre-cooked beans business started way back at the University of Zambia when I was in my second year. I remember attending a training by She Entrepreneur Zambia. It was a small business academy training. We were being trained on how to manage a business and the like. So it was from that training that I felt the need to do something. So after I kind of asked myself, what can I do? I mean, UNZA, because I think they were encouraging us to analyze the spaces where we are and just see what it is that you can come up with, something that is marketable based on the audience that you have. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, what am I going to be doing in campus? Yeah, then I thought to myself, I decided to start the pre-cooked beans business after I remember I was cooking beans in in my room by Kafiwe. Yeah, when I was cooking the pre-cooked beans that day, I remember most of the students coming to ask, oh, you're cooking beans, I'm asking for some. It's like there was just that knock. Everybody is knocking to ask if the beans was enough to be shared or not. Then it was from there that I saw the need to start doing that business. So the business that I do is actually called Home Away from Home. So Home Away from Home came about as a result of a realization that I noticed on campus. Most of us students want to cook fast foods. We want to eat junk foods and the like because we don't want to spend most of our time on cooking. So that's how I was like, okay, I think I can be doing the pre-cooked beans business where students can buy from me, yeah, just so they could eat healthy, because according to is it sustainable development goal number 3, which speaks to good, healthy and well-being, and I think that was my main center of focus when I was coming up with this particular business. So most of the students started buying from me, and I think this is a business that helped me sustain myself on campus. It also helped me pay part of my tuition fee, though most of it was being paid by my father and my sisters. Yeah.
So what really motivated you or pushed you into the pre-cooked beans business? Was it the fees, or you felt you needed to be an entrepreneur?
Okay, so I think for me, I'm a person that I love my I love being independent, and I think it worries Dad to some extent, because there are times when I could go months without calling for money and he would be worried. But personally, what I want is to also meet myself, my demands in some way. So that was my key driver, because I was like, I can't keep calling home for money all the time. I can't keep calling my sisters for money all the time. They also have other responsibilities. So that's what was really driving me. And yeah, that's just how come I started doing this business. I was not just selling beans, I was also selling carpenter, caterpillars, yeah, those things.
Okay. So who were the customers for this, the main customers? Was it just at campus, or you go out and sell in communities?
So initially, my target audience was UNZA students. I would only sell to UNZA students, but I also had some lecturers support my business. They would like call to say, oh, I saw this from somebody, you're selling this, this and that. Of course, it's illegal to do business on campus, but yeah, I had some lecturers support my business.
So how was the response from your fellow students, your family, when you mentioned, this is the route I'm taking for me to raise money to pay for this date?
Okay, so the response from my fellow students was quite overwhelming, and I think for my family, when I was running that business before the results came out, they didn't know about it. Like my family didn't know about it, because I was just doing it on my own in school. Yeah, so the response from students was quite overwhelming. I had a lot of orders from them. Yeah, and then how my family got to learn about the pre-cooked beans business was when I visited Dad in Kasempa district. So that's where I come from. So when I visited home, I was telling Dad about the balance that I had, which was over 13,000. Yeah, I told him I had this balance, we needed to pay for it. And then he told me, I don't know how we are going to pay for it, but yeah, I don't know how we're going to pay for it. My elder siblings equally had challenges financially at the moment. So I just told myself I needed to graduate, come what may. So that was when I told Dad to say, I have a business that I do in school. I do sell pre-cooked beans in school. Dad looked at me, and from the way he looked at me, I think he didn't really take me serious. Yeah, but I told him through my business, I'm going to pay for those tuitions. I have to raise that money. I need to graduate. I need to wear that gown, come what may. He looked at me, and he just said, anyway, the God that has brought you this far will surely make a way. Yeah, and that's how the conversation ended. That's how he learned about my business. Then when the results came out, I think that's when I felt the impact, because, you know, it was that moment when I was like, I was just like in a corner feeling sad that everybody else has seen their results. I'm not even sure if I have graduated. Of course, you would know, yes, I think I have graduated, but there's just that fear that comes to say, what if maybe my papers went missing? What if I didn't graduate with good results? What if I've just failed a course? Those things. I was really feeling bad. Plus, I got a lot of messages from my fellow students asking me about whether I've seen my results or not. You know, being the president, people would also want to see, has the president graduated? They would ask me in my inbox, Omuntu clear, has President graduated? You know, I could see some messages in groups and the like. So I really felt bad, I won't lie. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, if I'm feeling this way, what more a first year that has just reported and they haven't really paid for their fees because of the surcharge fee that was attached to their balance and the like. How are they feeling about it? Then I decided to do a post. I remember it was around 22. I decided to make a post on my Facebook page. Yeah, I just wrote about it, and then I think for me, it was coming from deep within me because I was determined. I was determined to clear that balance. using my my pre-cooked beans business. So that's how I was like, come what may, I have to pay for this. And then I remember sending out a message of encouragement. I was telling my fellow students who were in the same position as mine, I taught them to say, you know, God cannot bring you this far only to fail you. He can't. So then in a certain part of the post, I mentioned about my pre-cooked beans business. I was like, okay, I sell pre-cooked beans business, and I am kindly asking if you can support me by ordering my beans. I believe, because I sell a pack at 15 kwacha, so I was like, if just purchasing one pack can make a difference, because I really needed to pay for my tuition fee. I needed to graduate using that same beans business. Yeah, so that's how I got. And I think in my post I also asked people if I was like, if you cannot purchase, please help me share my post. And it was shared. I was surprised. That's why they say, where there's a way, there's just a way God does things, because I was so amazed at the way my post was shared, and just the number of people that came on board. I got a lot of calls that day, a lot of messages. Okay, where are you found? I want to order 30 packs. I want to order 10 packs. Some people would even like just share on their social media platforms. If you want pre-cooked beans business, declare interest, and then you can go and collect from Karine, then I'll pay for it. I got a lot of orders. I can't even remember how many there were, but I raised a lot of money through the same business. And I also had a number of well-wishers that came on board. People just called me. A lot of women called me. They were like, okay, I've seen your post from my friend, and I think I'm willing to help you with this much. I'm willing to help you with that much, just to help you clear your balance. I was so shocked. I honestly didn't know people were that generous. And I think it was during that moment that I learned that the art of kindness really pays off, because it was just surprising. Yeah.
Wow. Wonderful. In case you have just tuned in, you are watching Be the Change. In this edition, I'm talking to Karine Samatemba, a BA Economics merit graduate from UNZA, who cooked her way to graduation by engaging in a pre-cooked business to pay for her tuition fees. Karine, so when you were doing this business, what are some of the challenges that you were facing? Did you have cases where your fellow students would get on credit and they don't pay on time? What are some of the challenges?
Okay, so I faced quite a number of challenges. I remember the first time I just started, like when I just started selling the beans, I know sometimes I would go around, like, you know, door to door. I'm selling pre-cooked beans business. I'm selling pre-cooked beans. And, you know, there are just these girls, you know, they would tell you. I remember one girl even asked me to say, is this what you do for a living, Karine? A whole president from Munzahasa, you know, there was that thing, a president selling beans, you know. I used to feel bad, but, you know, I never stopped because of such comments. They would tell me, so you can't just call your dad, your sister, or somebody for money, you know, those kind of comments. Yeah, it was like that for some time. And then the other challenges I experienced was I never really had people borrowing. Most of the people would just come and buy. Yeah, but I had challenges with how to store it, because at that time I really didn't have a fridge of my own. Then the other challenges I faced were sometimes people would want to order at the time when you're in class. So it was somehow clashing with my class times. Somebody wants beans, you're learning. So yeah, it was like that.
So, Karine, there are youths out there who are in a similar situation. Females, males, they are undergoing through financial struggle in terms of paying their school fees. And some females have opted to go the other route, where they start dating married men just to find money. What is your advice?
Okay, so for me, my advice to my fellow young people would be that there's a lot that you can do as a young person aside engaging yourself in some sort of illicit behaviors. There's a lot that we can do. The only thing we need is a mindset transformation, because it's the dependency syndrome that kills most of us, always wanting to depend on somebody for your survival, believing that you cannot do it unless you have a man to sort of meet your needs. That's a very bad mentality, and I think for me that's just something I was running away from completely, because I believed so much in myself. I knew I would do so much within my capabilities. So I would advise my fellow young people to look around within your means. Brand yourself to the point that, even when you're not doing something tangible, people would still see somebody, It's that thing where I've seen young people that would just be called, because of how they've branded themselves on social media. They are called to different platforms. They are called to different meetings to speak, It's like you just need to take some time to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, just to see where you can place yourself. You need to identify your role and just, I don't know how I can put it, but you just somehow need to find something that you can do. Depending on men is not a solution. Sleeping around with men is not a solution. You can start your own business. Business does not always require you to have capital. When I started my pre-cooked beans business, the beans that I used, like the first beans I cooked to sell, came from my elder sister. I have a sister. She's not really my sister. She's our firstborn's daughter, yeah. So I visited her at some point. Then she likes packing things for me. She packed beans for me. She packed carpenter for me. She packed caterpillars for me. It was through that same beans that she gave me that I went to cook and I sold to my fellow students. You can see there that I actually didn't have capital money, you see. Then I used to pack it in plastics, those small plastics, not the way I'm packaging it now. Initially, I used to pack in plastics, like the plastics that they pack in groundnuts when you're buying from the streets. I would pack in those same ones, and that's how I started my business. You don't really need a huge sum of money for you to start a business, no. You just need to identify what you can do within your means.
Great. Youth Day for this year is being commemorated under the theme Zambia at 60, Be the Change. How would you interpret this theme?
Okay, so Zambia at 60, Be the Change. So the first part of the theme for me signifies the 60th anniversary of Zambia's independence. Yeah, it's a very it's a very momentous period for us, because spending 6 decades of progress and growth, that's something that we need to celebrate as a country. And then when it comes to be the change, this phrase is very, very important and very cardinal for young people, because I believe it has come at a very good time, because it's a phrase that is encouraging young people to be champions of change. It's a phrase that is encouraging us as young people to be the change that we envision. It's encouraging young people to be proactive in driving Zambia's future. Like, we just need to be the change for our country. This change that I'm speaking to can speak to us developing that entrepreneurial mindset as young people. Let's create these jobs for ourselves. We cannot just rely on government to create jobs for us. No, the government cannot create jobs for everybody, and that's the syndrome that we've gotten right from the time when we were children. We're being told, okay, when you graduate, you'll be employed. When you graduate, you'll be given a job. But we as young people, because there's a high unemployment rate in Zambia that can only be decreased if everybody starts something. Let's do something to curb this high unemployment rate. So it's up to us as young people to be innovative, come up with initiatives that would drive sustainable development. It also speaks to us young people being engaged in social responsibility. Let's give back to our communities. I personally love to engage in community service. I remember when I went to Northwestern Province, Kasempa, I decided to just take it upon myself because I discovered that most of the young people in Kasempa district, like young girls, were like there's a lot of early teenage pregnancies. So I decided to educate them about the contraceptives. I decided to raise awareness about climate change. I decided to raise awareness about cholera. I just, gathered them from church and decided to teach them. So it is up to us as young people to do that. Because personally, I believe as young people, us who are here in Lusaka, we are ambassadors of our different provinces. Everybody in Lusaka does not come from Lusaka, no. I do not come from Lusaka. I believe I'm an ambassador of Kasempa district. So whatever it is that I learn here is something that I take back to my community. So I always ensure that if I've learned something new and I get the opportunity to be in Kasempa, I always find my way to educate my fellow young people about what I have learned. And then the other thing that I would speak to is that we need to be the environmentals. We should somehow try to promote environmental stewardship as young people. We need to ensure that whatever it is that is being practiced, like the activities that are being run in the country, they should be environmentally sustainable for the future generations to come. So I feel if we need to be advocates of climate change, then it should be us, the young people. And then the other thing I would also point to, like you earlier introduced me, I'm the hub lead and founder of the Research and Policy Analysis Corner at the Global Platform Zambia. So what we do there is we're trying to raise a community of young researchers and policy analysts, because personally I believe if we're to come up with solutions, tangible solutions, then we need to grow a team of young people that are researchers, because it is through research that we get to understand what it is that we're going through as a country, what it is, where are these gaps, It's only through research that you can identify all that and also come up with tangible solutions to the many challenges that we're facing. So that's what we're trying to do at the Research and Policy Analysis Corner, and we also engage young people into policy analysis. We're trying to see if young people can also be interested in this, because statistics have proven that young people are not fully into research and policy analysis. I was reading a survey by Zipa. I think it was done some time back. I think it had proven that most of the young people don't even feel that their opinions or views are presented in these the policies that we implement as a country. So that's the gap we're trying to meet as the Research and Policy Analysis Corner. We're trying to see if we can bring young people together, analyze the policy, and see where the gaps are, and then we can advocate for it. We can also come up with policy briefs. So that's what we do at the Research and Policy Analysis Corner.
Great. As we come to the end of the program, what are your closing remarks?
Okay, so for me, my closing remarks, especially now that it's Youth Week and Youth Day is just tomorrow. So I would encourage my fellow young people to take this opportunity. Let's take this day let's take it very serious, because I believe it's a great opportunity. It's an opportunity where we get to interact with our leaders, I believe it's through this same particular day, Youth Day, that the National Youth Policy will be launched. So let's take in interest, because, we can identify a lot of opportunities through this policy. Let's see what it is that has been put in that particular policy to meet. Let's just identify how we can benefit from it as young people. So my other message to my fellow young people is that we should be the drivers of the change that we want to see, because change will not come on a silver platter. No, we need to put in the efforts as young people, because we are the leaders of today. We are done with young people are the leaders of tomorrow. No. We are the leaders of today. So if we want to see change, then we should be the drivers of change. We should be the active participants in research, especially in policy analysis.
Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Quite informative. Karen, thank you for coming on this program.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great opportunity being here.
Viewers, that is all we had for you on Be the Change. This has been Faith Katai. Have a pleasant viewing.